What's up, everybody? Tindo here, Donkey Kong here, and today we're going to talk about my console collection. I've got a lot of consoles, and almost all of them came from the thrift store, which I'm very proud of. There's not much here that I paid any money for at all, because the thrift stores here in Phoenix where I live are magical! I love it here. I pretty much just live here now for the thrift stores. That's a true story. But a few videos ago, we talked about my whole handheld collection, which is all almost thrifted. Except for obviously the Switch. I had to buy that one new. But today we're going to talk consoles. That's what we've got the most requests for. Been getting a lot of comments saying, hey, what consoles you got? Show us your consoles. So that's what we're going to do today. Check this out. I'm trying to think of what's a good place to start. Probably with my inbox stuff. That way we can just continue to stack stuff on top of that. I keep most of my inbox consoles up here. And there's plenty of complete inbox stuff up here. There's plenty of stuff that I'm still piecing together. And then there's a handful of empty boxes. But let's just go through all of it. Let's start with my Wii collection, which we talked about very recently. So we're not going to go into this a ton. White Wii, Anniversary Edition Red Wii, one of my most prized possessions. If this place caught on fire, I would not go get Patrick. I probably would grab my cat. I'd slap Hannah on the head. I'd grab this rubber duck. I'd shove this red Wii down my pants because I love it so much. But that's my regular Wiis. And then very recently I got this on the channel. My first Wii Mini. And all these are complete. These are actually complete and inbox. And as well as being complete and inbox, I have second consoles for each color on display. That is not the case with this Mini. This is the complete box, but I just have the Wii Mini on display. So one of these days I'll find another one of these just to put on the shelf, and I'll leave the other one boxed up and ready to go. That's my Wiis. No more consoles over there, though. This is just in-box peripherals. This is a PlayStation 4 box, but there's nothing in it. It's completely empty. I found the box at a thrift store. Stand up, Mr. Duck. You're not a duck, are you? You're a chicken. You're the only chicken here. Everyone else is ducks. What are you doing here? So yeah, that is an empty box. We'll go ahead and get it down. It's not in the greatest shape, and of course I didn't get all the cardboard inserts, but at the Goodwill bins, if you're not familiar, you don't have to pay for boxes. So I get this stuff for free when I find it. I'm just kind of dreaming one day maybe I'll find a crappier condition box that does have the inserts, because I do have this model PlayStation, but it's in my bedroom. It's the only console really that I play in my bedroom. I've got a Wii plugged up back there right now, I think, that I've been playing some Mario on. But yeah, so there's that. That's my favorite thing on earth. That's my favorite thing on earth, but my cat hates it. He's probably hiding in fear right now. So of course, my inbox Switch. It's the same thing as this Wii Mini box. I actually played the Switch, but I took it out of the box the day I got it. Almost a year ago now. I got this on Black Friday last year, and everything in there. I kept all the plastic, all the wrapping. One of these days when I buy a new Switch, I'll just put this one back in the box and have it completely boxed up on the shelf. Behind my giant Pez collection is a complete in-box Super Nintendo. The box is pretty much crap, but it's alright. This thing's so old that it doesn't bother me much. I was actually able to get this at a local game store for the same price as a regular Super Nintendo, not complete in box, because they weren't actually going to sell this box. He was going to throw it away. I was like, no, I'll take that box. So the styrofoam in it's complete and everything. Very happy to have a complete Super Nintendo in my collection. Like I said earlier, there are some things that I did get at regular game stores. So I actually got this from a game store, but I traded in a PlayStation 4 that I found at the thrift store. So I didn't spend any money here. And you're going to hear a little bit more of that tonight. There's, I got this and something else for that trade, but there's so much here that if I didn't, and I mean in my whole collection, there's so much in my whole collection that if it did come from a game store, it probably came from trade-in credit that I got from something else at the thrift store. And that's the deal with my Super Nintendo, which I highly recommend it. Shop at the thrift store for what you want. Buy the other stuff that you don't want that's a little bit valuable at a game store. Go trade it in. Next up, another find from the Goodwill bins. I do not yet have an NES Classic or a Super Nintendo Classic. I want both, but these are really scalped on Craigslist here right now, like $100 or something. It's crazy. I don't want to pay much for one of those at all, but I did find an empty box at the Goodwill bins. They let me have it for free, so I just leave it on display. Now, this one is probably my favorite story. Patrick, let's whip around. This is my streaming setup here and my recording setup. So, you know, here's the camera that I record on. You can see it's on. We've been playing a lot of bad video games on the channel. For whatever reason, most of the bad video games I have are Wii. So my Wii U's down here next to Patrick's Powerade. And I leave it plugged up there because we play a lot of Wii here. I'm a big Wii Fit fan, as you can see. And that's where the magic happens, over there. But I pulled this Wii U box, which is complete. It's got all its inserts. Just the box. I pulled it out of a trash can. Pretty much my one and only dumpster diving adventure. And I did that because Hannah, I don't know what got in her head, but we were leaving a game store once, and Hannah just eyeballed the trash can, and there was a Wii U box in there. So I reached over with my big long arms, I pulled it out. And about 2 months later, a thrifting buddy of mine gave me that Wii U. He's like, I just don't feel like messing with this and putting it on eBay. He's a reseller. He doesn't really even resell game stuff much. He does a lot of other electronics. He asked me if I wanted it. I was like, man, I love you. Because it was probably one of the greatest gifts I ever got. And so I have a complete inbox Wii U now. And this box is in great condition. I don't know why the game store threw it away. But it's one of my favorite boxes because I get comments on my videos all the time that tells me this box is upside down. Look at this box closely. This box is upright. Mario is upside down. It's one of my favorite boxes though, for sure. All right, let's keep moving. Got just Pokeballs all over the place. This is my only inbox 360. And I almost got another one the other day, but the price tag on it was insane. I believe I got this at the same time as I got the red Wii. And there was a coupon, so I got a huge percentage off by buying both. So it was marked like 20 and 30, so it's 50 total, and I think I got out the door for 38 for both of these two. And they're both complete in box. I think when I got it, it was missing the controllers and the headset that came with it. Of course, I had all that laying around already, so I have a complete Xbox 360. It's in there, the hard drive's in it, it works great, and I'm pretty much just going to leave it on the shelf. Because Xbox 360s are super easy for me to find. There's another one here. I've got one plugged up in my bedroom. They are all over the place. They're not a difficult console to find whatsoever. Alright, Mr. Duck. You go sit on the empty shelf. Now, here's another empty box. I bought this very recently. I think at the top of the list of inbox consoles I'd like to have would be an inbox original Xbox. But this box is not in great shape, and there's only a little bit of styrofoam in there, but not all of it. So I have everything. I even have the original instruction manuals and stuff that came in that box that I got elsewhere. I think I got those at the Goodwill bins, but I don't have the styrofoam to pack in that box, or I would have an inbox complete original Xbox. So those are Wii Fit boards. There is the box for my Switch Lite, and then, which of course I don't put it in there. It's pretty much my most played console right now, so that doesn't have any business being in the box. Now, like a lot of you watching did, whenever these bad boys went on sale for 20 bucks, and even went as low as like 10 bucks, I think I heard somebody say they bought one for 5 bucks at Best Buy, which seems crazy. I bought 2 of these. So I've got one. This box is empty. That's the one that I've got, and I keep in a little travel kit I take with me and sometimes play in hotel rooms. But this one, I went ahead and got a protective case for it. It's sealed. I don't have a ton of interest in keeping this. I'm fine with having one that's open. But I'm really hoping one of these days, for some weird reason, I doubt this happens, but maybe I'll be 50 years old one day and this will be worth several $100s and I can trade it for something. But for now, it sits nice and shiny on my shelf in its protective case. So next up, one of my newest additions. This was actually Hannah's when she was younger. It's the box with all the packing and the manuals. I didn't get it with a PS2 Slim, but I of course have the PS2 Slim laying around. So I have not done the work to put this all together and make it complete, but when I get done with that, that will be a complete inbox PS2 Slim. And then, this is one of the more sadder parts of what's going on here in my collection. Here's a PS3 Fat. So heavy. Name a heavier console. Go ahead, I'll wait. This thing's garbage. It doesn't work. It's the third or fourth one I brought home from the thrift that didn't work, so I've given up on the PS3 Fat. They're just terrible. But I've got all the other PlayStations in the world here on my game shelf, so of course I leave one up there for display. So, let's put that here. Let's keep going. That's all my inbox consoles that I can think of. I would not be surprised if I'm sitting here in about 10 minutes and go, oh yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's all of them. Now, let's move on to my actual consoles. These are all consoles pretty much that I play or that are ready to play. It's kind of hard to say. Obviously, I don't play a bunch of different GameCubes, but I'm very proud of my GameCube collection, and I have all three of the American release colors, the indigo, as well as the black. And then over here, this is the one I leave plugged up with my Wavebird controller and an aftermarket wireless controller that's terrible, but Hannah gets that one, and I get the good one. I'm just kidding. I play by myself all the time. I'm just kidding. But that's the one I play, so I leave that plugged up. And while we're over here, let's just get these out of the way. I think the only other consoles over here are my SNES Mini, which I love. I keep a copy Super Mario World in there because it's the best game ever, and I don't know why you'd play any other game ever because it's great. And then of course the controllers down there are all the ones that are charged up, have batteries in them, ready to go for these consoles. That's kind of how everything goes. We play most of these consoles, these retro consoles, on that big CRT TV, and the controllers there are all ready to go. So let's keep moving through them. Once again, I've already told you about my Wiis. I don't have a blue American Wii. I don't have one in box or out of box, but I'm still looking for one. But these guys are all pretty much display. This black and red one are slightly valuable. I could sell those for a few bucks, but because I'm so obsessive over the Wii, I really like keeping those loose ones. My regular Super Nintendo, which I keep my Super Game Boy in, just in case I'm feeling Game Boy, want the Game Boy on the TV, which I didn't mention, I think, but my GameCube over here also has the Game Boy player in it, and so we play a lot of Game Boy on the TV. I pretty much, these days, don't play much Game Boy handheld at all. There's the Super Nintendo. This doesn't really count, but let's talk about it. This is a Pokédex, and this is one of my, I'd say one of my prized possessions. I had one of these when I was a kid. Who knows what I did with it? Who knows where I lost it? But I found this at the Goodwill bins, paid for it by weight, so I got it for like $1. One of the most nostalgia-inducing things in this room is this Pokédex for me. All right, let's keep moving. Here is my playable NES. I've got a couple more NESs in this room that are not in playing condition, but this is the one that I play on. This is the one I play my Super Mario Brothers on, and I'm very happy to have it. Also from the bins, I actually, true story, I had to race a couple guys to get this because I was not the only one that spotted this at the Goodwill bins when the doors opened. And we all ran to it, and because my arms are so long, snatched it. Alright, my N64, it's kind of funny how many multiples of most of these systems I have, but I only have one N64 right now. I've not been lucky enough at all in my thrifting adventures to come across any of the colored N64s. I've just got a black one, but this guy gets played pretty regularly. I keep Super Mario 64 in there, pretty roughed up coffee, but that's pretty much what we use it for. I don't have any crazy N64 games right now. I think my rarest one would be Super Smash Brothers, and we've played that a little. But otherwise, we just, if we want that 64 Mario fix, we get that bad boy out. Alright, I keep this on my console shelf, I don't know why, but it's just a Minecraft box, and it's full of Minecraft blocks, because why wouldn't it be? This particular Xbox 360 is another one from the thrift. Busted disk drive. Well, it's not busted. It's just left open. If you plug it up, it'll close up, I think. But it's missing its hard drive. I see dozens of these a week. In all my time of shopping at the thrift, I've never found an Xbox 360 Slim with the hard drive in it. I have found the hard drive exactly once, separately at a Goodwill, and then the other 360s in here that came without their hard drive, I did use trade-in credit at a game store. But this was actually funny because I do have the hard drive. And also pretty funny, I found this door cover separate from this 360 at a separate Goodwill. And I basically pieced this all together. I do have a spare door cover and all the other parts that needs to get going. One of these days I need to get to working on this and get it put together. And probably just take that in for some trade-in credit. I get $30, sometimes $40 trade-in credit for 360 Slim. And I'll just buy some games with that. Let's keep moving. This is not a console, but it's kind of funny how close it is. I guess we can do Sega stuff next. There's the actual console, and that's just a special edition Sonic statue on top of the Genesis. But yeah, there's my, it's a little dusty. Man, I need to air these off. That's bad. Don't judge me. It's a little dusty in here. We need to dust. But there's my Sega Genesis, and I don't play this one. The one that I play is the one that is connected to my Sega CD, also getting dusty. This was an early find for me. I would say we've been running this channel right now for about 4 months, right at 4 months, and about 6 or 7 months before that, I really got back into gaming really heavy. I've always been into gaming, but I really got back into it, and that's when I started about thinking a channel, and it kind of took a lot of time. It took a lot of time for me to kind of figure out that I wanted to do a channel and that I wanted to get into it, but real early on when I was thinking about it, I found this, just like this, in a bin at the Goodwill bins. So I paid probably $5 or $6 for it. It works great. I love me some Sega CD games, though I don't really own a ton of them. But this was one of my luckiest finds, I feel like, because a lot of you will know these are hard to find. They're not exactly cheap. So, Sega Genesis, talked about those. I don't really have any other Sega consoles. I'm lying to you. I've got a Sega Dreamcast. We got this at a Goodwill for like 30 or 40 bucks. I think it was 40 bucks, and after a coupon, I got it for 30. And I only own, like, I'm looking at them across the room, like 5 or 6 Sega Dreamcast games, and they're all sports. So I don't have a lot to play on this right now. I'm lying to you. I've got a Tomb Raider game, but I also have that on all the other consoles. So I'm waiting to find one of those Dreamcast exclusives or something that I really have to play this thing for, because this has not been getting a lot of love. We're running out of room on the desk. Alright, so we already talked about the PlayStation. Oh, look what I just uncovered! 2 more Wiis. I've got so many Wiis, because everywhere I look in this house, there's Wiis. Patrick, how many Wiis do I got?
A lot.
A lot. Alright, here is one of a couple Xbox originals that I've got laying around. I'm glad we shot this video, because now I know how bad everything needs to be dusted. It's not bad, though. I've definitely seen dirtier Xboxes. This is the one that I play on. It's not modded. It is still, it's not factory sealed. It has been opened. And it was that way when I bought it. And I thought, oh great, maybe this has been modded. It's not. But the reason that I've kept this one is because the store gives really good trade-in credit here for original Xboxes, but they won't take them, of course, if the factory seal's been broken. So I just kept the one that is broken. Alright, let's move on to PlayStation stuff. I've got 2 PS3 Super Slims. And this red one is one of my prized possessions. This is another one. I don't remember what I traded in. I think a couple GameCubes. And I got a ton of store credit once. And I bought this bad boy at a local bookstore, game store. And I just love that. I played pretty much all of the Uncharted series on it as soon as I got it. Because I had never played the Uncharted series before starting this channel. I don't know what it is about a red console. But like that red Wii, I love it. I just love it. So that's one of my favorites. And usually if people come in here to the game room for the first time and ask me what my favorite thing that I have here is, I pretty much usually say this red PS3 and this red Wii. Here's one I found at the bins. Not really too long after buying the red one. And it's good. It plays. I played a little bit of Uncharted on it as well. It's just missing this front plate. Now, I have found a replacement plate of one of these. And it's only like $6 or $7 on eBay, but it's black. So I think I'm going to order a couple of them, do a couple different white paint jobs on them, pop it in, and see if I can't make it look pretty normal, because I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm just going to keep this. And honestly, I've got a lot of console collecting ambitions, but we'll talk about that at the end of the video because I want to tell you how much more I want the other colors of those PS3 Super Slims. I want them bad. But we'll come back to that. Let's get through the rest of this PlayStation stuff. Again, I'm looking at all this PlayStations. Yeah, everything here on this PlayStation shelf came from the thrift. And I got this at a regular Goodwill, not the bins, $5 or $6, and I've played a ton on it. I love this thing. Much like this Pokédex that brings back so much nostalgia, this PlayStation does as well. I love plugging up this original PlayStation. I have nowhere to put it. Let's just put it over there. Now, I also have a couple different PlayStation 2 Slims, and of course the miniature PlayStation 1. I love this bad boy. I don't yet have a screen for it, but I want one of those so bad. But every time I see them, they're just a little bit too expensive, and I'd love to just luck out one day and find that fold-up screen at the Goodwill bins or something. That'd be great. I'm thinking that particular silver PS2 Slim doesn't work, but this one does. This is the one I've played on. I think we played some Spyro on here a couple weeks ago. This one was working great. Silver one's not, but it's also, we'll talk about this also in a few minutes. I've got some drawers full of stuff that's like parts, etc., etc. I might have thrown the other ones away because I have so many of these that don't work. They're really cheap when I find them at the Goodwill bins because they don't weigh much, so I pay just $1 or $2 a piece. But I've brought home way more of these that don't work than do. And unfortunately, the silver one over here does not work. But because I like to display the different colors of consoles, I've just kept the gray one to display. Next up, I've got not one, but two different PlayStation 2s. Now, something's a little different about one of them, as you can see. But there's my regular one. I've played quite a bit on this. Again, we played some Spyro on here recently, and there's not much to say about it. But again, Goodwill bins, paid for by weight, $5 or $6. This, though, I saw this at a regular Goodwill for $20, and I was like, well, that's neat. I guess it's for, you know, playing hack games or playing your burnt discs. I was like, that's great. But I didn't buy it. And I went home, and I thought about it all day. I told Hannah about it, and she's like, you better go back and buy it. You're going to talk about that thing for the next 2 months if you don't buy it. So I went back and bought it. It was $20, and it turns out, I did a little bit of research. There's a disc that comes with this replacement system, and I guess you put the disc in, you start it up, and then you can switch out your burnt games. I don't have that disc, nor am I likely to find it. Maybe if you know anything about this particular one, and maybe the disc that goes with it, or a disc that could go with it, if you want to point me in that direction, if you know something, please do. I don't have a ton of interest in it. I haven't really tried super hard to track any of that stuff down. But this does play regular games, so I can just plug it up and play whatever else. But I just love that. I don't know what it is all over there on the shelf, but that white extra... It's not even white. It's like Ghost, Casper white, Off-White. I don't know. Patrick White.
It looks like a cookies and cream Hershey bar.
Yeah, I see that. I see that now that you say it. Yeah, but I like the way it looks on my shelf. And it was really hard to look up what this Z was and what brand that was because it wasn't a terribly popular thing, but I don't even remember now, but I did eventually find it. So there's that PlayStation 2. Now, what else is over here? Pretty much, that's it. I think that's all my consoles. Well, that's all the consoles that are here. I do have, of course, my Switch Lite, which we talked about, but that's kind of a handheld, right? We talked about that in the handheld video. I keep my Switch plugged up right here. And we actually just, an hour ago, we streamed for an hour or two and played some Mario Kart. That's why I leave it plugged up here. We often stream Mario Kart and stuff, and actually we play with some of the members over on our Discord. So if you'd like to come play Mario Kart with us, or Mario Maker, or some Switch games, sometime in the future, go over to our Discord and join that. It's a good time. What else? What else do we need to talk about? I think the last things we need to talk about are actually in my bedroom. So let's go to the bedroom, huh? And we'll talk about that stuff, then we'll come back in here and wrap it up. But first, before we go, I want you to look at all this. Actually, you stay here and look at this. I'll go to the bedroom. Look at it. Look. Don't look at me. Look how ridiculous this looks. All right, let's go to the bedroom. All right, we're in the bedroom. This is where I sleep. This is my guitar collection. This is Hannah is sitting here editing photos. That's where we edit our photos for our clothing business. That's also where I sit and edit the videos for the channel. But also I edit video for a living, so that's where all that happens. This is pretty much where I spend my life, here in this room. And most of the video games I play, if they're not on that CRT, which I would say 20% of the game playing I do is out there, About 80% of it is in here, and this is where I keep all of that. Here's what we've been playing recently. I've been playing Batman, Arkham Knight. Hannah has been playing the new Kingdom Hearts. Actually, this is what we've been playing the most. She's been playing it, I've been watching. It's a good time, it's a great game. Patrick likes it. What else have we been playing? On the PS3, we've been playing Little Big Planet karting. We're playing that recently, it's a good time. Here is the PlayStation 3 that I actually play on, or have been playing on recently. Again, it's something I brought home that I probably would have taken in for trading credit, but it's all busted. At the Goodwill bins, everything gets wheeled out in these giant bins, and the forklift just dumps them, so that probably just landed that way. It's not plugged up right now because I haven't been playing it a ton. I've been reading up on my Skylanders, because these are not Skylanders, these are Disney Infinity. I've ran out of room for my Skylanders. They don't fit in the bedroom. They used to sit here, and I got so many, I replaced it with the Disney Infinity. I definitely want a better display for those one of these days. But here is a PlayStation 4. One of 2 PlayStation 4s. No, now 3. One of 3 PlayStation 4s I've found at the thrift. Remember at the beginning of the video where I said that the Phoenix is a magical land of thrifting? It's magic. I found 3 PS4s. 2 of them working when I found them. One that needed some work. And that's so great on trade-in credit. I'm sure a lot of you know you can still get some pretty good trade-in credit for PS4. So that's how I got some of my nicer stuff, like that red PS3. But that bad boy, we do play games on it. That's how we're currently playing through Kingdom Hearts. But it's also a really good Netflix machine, and now Disney Plus machine, because we just watched The Mandalorian, and it was great. Highly recommend it if you haven't watched it. But the rest of the consoles in here that I do play semi-regularly, here is my Wii that I play on, and I have this one because it's hacked. And I haven't put any games on it myself. It was hacked and has a few games on it that I've played. Like, I've just played through a bunch of Wind Waker. Was it Wind Waker's? No, what's the... I don't remember. There's a couple Zelda games on that Wii, and I've played through those. And then here's the 360 that we do play on. Me and Patrick like playing some Left 4 Dead. We play it all the time. I'll just sit right here with my wireless controller and play on that 360. That's a 360 Super Slim. That's also from the thrift store. That's all from the thrift store. So all 3 of those consoles were paid for by weight. So like $10 for all 3. The only other thing that I can think of console-wise that I have, and this is a little bit complicated, this is my drawer system. Actually, these are our clothes. And the bottom half of this sorter is a lot of console stuff. Most of it is actually baggies full of the peripherals for each console. So if I want to plug a Super Nintendo up in here, or I need a specific Super Nintendo thing, I can come in here and grab it. That's what a lot of this is. And it kind of goes by system. So my Wii and GameCube stuff is in there. My Super Nintendo stuff is in there. And again, a lot of peripherals. But I do have... This is kind of funny. I do have this box full of these mini consoles, some knockoff consoles. Before we got to where we were really collecting a lot of video games, I had this stuff on display because I love clone consoles. I love knockoff consoles. I've got so many. It just goes on and on and on. I don't even know what else. Oh yeah. Those broken PS2 Slims. Remember me talking about those? These are busted. I should just throw them away, but I haven't yet. Clone console. I don't even know what else is in here. A lot of junk. It's stuff I should throw away, but I can't bring myself to do it. Does anyone else have that problem? Comment below. I'm sure you do. Also comment below if you're into weird clone consoles. I know I've seen some comments before when I've skipped some clone console stuff that was in thrift stores. People are like, man, you should have got that. I love that. Comment below if you're into that. There you go, guys. That's my thrifted console collection. Like I said, it's all almost from the thrift store, or if not directly from the thrift store, it's traded in at the thrift store. I know there's some obvious stuff that's not from the thrift store, but can you imagine finding a Switch at the thrift store? I have a buddy, the same buddy who gave me, I've already lost it because it's buried under all this. Oh, it's plugged up. The same buddy that gave me my Wii U from the thrift store, he found a Switch. It was just the tablet without the Joy-Cons. But that's crazy. That's crazy all on its own. I'd love to find a Switch, but it's probably going to be a lot of years before anything Switch related starts showing up at the thrift store. So I do want to say, I love my consoles probably more than most individual sections of what's in my game room. My controllers are probably a really close second. I love my controllers, but I really love these consoles. I was actually collecting these before I started collecting the rest of this. Everything you see here behind me, I gathered in the matter of the last 4 or so months since we started this channel, because I wanted to make this channel about collecting, and I wanted to collect this stuff on camera. So almost, I would say most of this stuff you can find in a video somewhere. Not all of it, but maybe 65-70% of it. There's videos of me finding this stuff in the thrift store on my channel. Just go back and watch them. We're almost to 100 episodes now of live video game hunting. And that's kind of another reason I love it even more, is that I have the documentation of where all this stuff from. Not everybody's lucky enough to say that. A lot of you guys collecting, unfortunately, you know, haven't carried a camera with you everywhere you've went in the last few years, and I feel a little bit special. I'm not someone who likes to let himself feel too special too often, but I feel pretty special being able to have that documentation, to have that footage on a hard drive. I can go watch it now. I can go to my YouTube channel and go, which video was it? Oh yeah, that's where I got this PS3. That brings me a lot of joy. But also, let's talk a little bit before we go about my intentions for collecting consoles in the future. I want to just basically get a complete inbox everything. That's a little wild, but I mean, I'm making leaps and bounds, really. I've got a Wii U, I've got almost all the Wiis, I've got almost all the PlayStations. But I don't know if I want to go so far out of the way to get lots of color variations yet or not. I might just get the ones I like. Which is probably funny coming from me for some of you, because I talk about collecting complete console game collections so often. But I don't know, I just feel like even one of these days when we have a big YouTube space, a huge room full of inbox consoles is probably going to get out of hand. But I don't know, right now I'm pretty happy with just so far collecting what I find at the thrift store. I mean, because that's, again, where most of this is from. But let's talk about you guys before we go. You guys have listened to me talk on and on about me and my collection. I want to know what you guys collect console-wise. Do you collect all of them like me? Comment below if that's the case. Does anybody out there just collect, I suspect this is probably going to be a thing because it was with the handhelds, does anybody out there collect a specific color variation of consoles? We had somebody comment and discuss on the Discord that they only collected blue handhelds. Not only, but they specifically really tried to get the blue version if they could. Which is awesome. I love that stuff. As much as I love looking at my stuff, I know how weird this is going to sound before it comes out of my mouth, but I like looking at your stuff. So, comment below what it is you collect console-wise, and then please, please, please go over to our Discord if you haven't joined it already, and let's talk more about your console collection over there, because I know you got them. I know you people watching have console collections. But that's it, guys. That's another collection video. This is the second one we've made, kind of third one. We have one where we just did the handhelds that we have thrifted. Go watch that if you haven't. But there's also a live video game hunting video at the end of which we talked about my Wii collection. So it kind of counts. I don't know. But I've only been doing these videos because you guys, whenever I've asked in the past what kind of videos you want me to make, you said, talk more about your collection. Talk more about that stuff on the back of the wall that we see in the back of all your videos. So we're just slowly going to go through and do that. I don't know what's next. Comment below if there's something you really want to see. I think we need a video about my controller collection because that's just the good stuff. That's not even all of it. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do comment below before you go, and also hit that like and subscribe button and hit that bell notification so that in the future when we post these videos... Oh, now you don't want to open? Now you don't want to close? Oh, you're great. It closed. You can get a notification, then you can come back and hang out with us then, alright guys? Until then, peace out.